My main concern is worried about our team. Nothing against those guys. We just got to get our penalty situation corrected, and we had one or two turnovers this past weekend, and we got to get corrected. I'm expecting an evenly matched football game. But we got to match their intensity and their effort. They're going to play. They're going to play hard. They're going to run to the ball. They're going to get at least 9 to 10 people to the ball. That's what they've shown on film. So, we beat a main team to 0 last year, but I think looking at their roster, they have a totally different team than what they had last year.
Speaking of the turnover battle, now, although you've given up some turnovers, you've also collected a few yourself. As a matter of fact, you're toward the tops of the CIAA in turnovers, especially in that defensive secondary. You have 4 different players, each with an interception, taking the team to tied at first for most takeaways. So how does that make you feel?
Well, it's pretty good. It's a testament to our defensive line getting pressure on their quarterback and our secondary being in the right position at the right time to catch the ball and that sort of thing. I think we have to do a better job once we get the turnovers, turning them into points. We've had times where we gotten 3 out of it, but we want to get 7 points out of it each time we get a turnover. But the defense is doing a great job. A little disappointed. Have them down 27-3 with like 6 or 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. We can't finish the deal. That was a little disappointing. We started working on our tackle on Sunday and gave the guys a day off yesterday, and we're going to continue to work on our tackling all this week and be ready for Saturday.
All right, you're listening to the Coach Daryl Williams Show. Thank you for joining the Sports Desk. We're going to take a quick break. And just a reminder, this segment is brought to you by John McGrail of the Edward Jones Investment Company, Jenny's Insurance Agency, Hotwire Communications, and F&M Bank. We'll be right back after these sounds.
For 140 years, Livingstone College has stood for academic excellence and Christian values. As times change, we're committed to preparing students for the global society. When you think of excellence, think Livingstone.
All right, welcome back. This is the Coach Williams Show. Thank you for joining the Sports Desk. This segment is brought to you by the John McGrail of Edward Jones Investments, Jennings Insurance Agency, Hotwire Communications, and FM Bank. Coach Williams, again, we got Allen coming up. You're 2-0 going into that game. Now, just looking at Allen's stat sheet, looks like they throw the ball a lot. Your defense, very hungry out there. So how do you think the two will clash when we meet on Saturday?
More so than anything, we want to make sure we don't have guys running free through our secondary, making sure we're assignment, whether we're in cover 2, assignment sound, whether we're in cover 2 or cover 3, making sure that we get pressure on their quarterback and that sort of thing. If guys do happen to catch the ball, keep everything in front of us and be a good tackling team this weekend. And whatever they get, let's make them earn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm just going through the stat sheet. Your defense has the least touchdowns given up in the CIAA, the least yards given up in the CIAA, and the second least run yards given up in the CIAA. Tied for first in interceptions. You got to be satisfied with what you're getting. I mean, there's always room for improvement, Coach, but how much of a stickler are we on
well,
the results versus what we putting out on the field?
Let's not anoint them yet. It's still September. So
very early, huh?
And what we're telling our guys, it's no secret about what we're trying to do. No disrespect to Allen or anybody else on our schedule. We're coaching for October, and that's when all the chips are going to be the highest. So we're trying to work out some kinks and that sort of thing. But it feels good to be. Anytime you're on top of anything, it feels good. But we still got to make some improvement. Every single day. And I've been expressing to the guys that with more and more success you got to become more and more coachable. Because sometimes guys think it's them, and it's more so the system. And that's what we've been hopping on all week, is making sure that you're coachable and take the criticism and let's move forward. But I like the position that we're in.
All right, as you mentioned, you're coaching for October. As we all know, that's when CIAA play starts. We have Lincoln next week, Union the week after that. Without looking too far ahead, are you excited about these conference games coming up? And do you think that'll be the telltale sign of what your team really has to offer?
Yeah, well, we're going to get tested this weekend. The good thing about all this, we playing at home. Yeah. And this is the second week in a row we're playing at home. It's kind of different for us. Because traditionally we're usually on the road the first couple of weeks of the season. So we don't have to travel. That's a good thing. We'll be on the road next week, but I'm happy that we're playing at home. Gives us an advantage. It was a nice crowd out there this past weekend, and would like for everybody to come out and support the young men also from the faculty, the staff, the community. I think that was a good, really good for the student, for the players, and the band did a good job of coming out and playing and that sort of thing. All that plays a part in helping the student athletes get motivated and play harder.
Yeah, and we would like you all to come out and support the football team this Saturday at Memorial Alumni Stadium, 4 o'clock kickoff, right, Coach?
Yes, sir.
We're looking forward to seeing you. Now, Coach, let's flip over to the other side of the ball. We've talked a lot about defense, but you have a quarterback under center that's really doing some things out there. Now, as I've mentioned in the past, you played quarterback at Tennessee State, and you got quite a bit of accolades from your time under center. So translating that to Miles Hayes these days, I mean, he's leading the CIAA in passing, and your team is also leading the CIAA in time of possession by almost 9 minutes. So just talk a little bit about your offense and what you have clicking on that side of the ball and how that cohesiveness is really coming together.
Well, I'm real proud of the guys for the time management, time of possession. I think we held the ball 9 minutes in the third quarter. I think we only got 3 points out of it, which was a little disappointing. For the offense, I think we had 15 or 16 guys who touched the ball, which is extremely good. I don't think one team can prepare for just one person on our team. As far as Miles goes, he's doing a decent job, but you got to still remember it's only 2 games this season, and he only played like 4 or 5 games last season. I tell the guys that's the hardest position to play on the football field because I'm there coaching the position and that sort of thing. But he has done a good job. I think he's surrounded by a bunch of talented players. The first time our offensive line has been together since the spring. We also have some adequate backups in practice to give guys a break, which is different than what we had in the past. I still, I met with Miles on Sunday about having better fundamentals and making better decisions and that sort of thing. So I think we still have a long road to go, but when you win, the mistakes are easy to correct.
This is the Coach Daryl Williams Show, brought to you by John McGill of Edward Jones Investments, Jennings Insurance Agency, Hotwire Communication, F&M Bank. You're listening to the Sports Desk. All right, now, Coach, as we move along, we talked about the offense, we talked about the defense, but special teams comes up pretty well as well. Block field goal. Although Kundu did miss a kick, he connects on most of them that we put out there. So how big of a role is special teams in your overall operation?
Well, I think we've been doing a decent job. We had a few breakdowns. This week and last week we've had a bad snap on a punt, and people thought it was in our own end, thought it was a fake punt, which it was a bad snap. Then Akundu shanked one. I think he was surprised that I would go for it. I mean, let him kick it when it was 42 yards. I think that kind of shocked him when we talked about that on Sunday. But he bounced back, at the end of the game and made some decent kicks. Gomez, our kickoff guy, did a good job of getting the ball nice and high on the kickoff. We had some guys who stood out on the kickoff team, but we also had a breakdown. They ran one back to our 25-yard line, which the play got called back because the other team hit a couple guys in the back and that sort of thing. But all in all, I think we got to do a better job of getting off blocks on our kickoff team, and that's something that we're going to work on. And we don't want to get beat that way, getting beat special teams. That's because it's just one play, and that's a sign of a bad football team when you get beat special team wise. Okay.
All right, we're going to go to a quick break. This, again, is the Coach Daryl Williams Show, brought to you by John McGill of the Edward Jones Investment Company, Jennings Insurance Agency, Hotwire Communications, and F&M Bank. We'll be right back after these songs.
For 140 years, Livingstone College has stood for academic excellence and Christian values. Our holistic learning environment helps students discover who they are, awaken their potential, and prepare them for the global society. Under the leadership of Dr. Jenny R. Jenkins Sr., our mission is stronger now than ever. Visit livingstone.edu to learn how we meet students where they are and take them to where they need to be. When you think of excellence, think Livingstone.
Hello again and welcome back to the Sports Desk. This is the Coach Daryl Williams Show, brought to you by John McGill of the Edward Jones Investment Company, Jennings Insurance Agency, Hotwire Communications, and F&M Bank. Now, Coach, again, we have Allen coming up. You're 2-0. What are you looking to get out of this Saturday?
Well, first and foremost, we want to get the victory, and we want to play well. We want a clean football game. That's what I spoke to the team about on Sunday, of making sure that we get the penalties down. Because last year we were the least penalized team in the conference. Well, we just got to work on our fundamentals when we start holding and things of that nature. We're not moving our feet, and we had a couple chop blocks. That's offensive linemen not getting up to the second level and that sort of thing. It's just a matter of things that we can correct and that sort of thing. We had one or two questionable calls in the secondary, was pass interference, which I told the guys, let's continue to play hard and that sort of thing. Some of those penalties, you don't want them, but you can play with them, because guys are playing hard, trying to make a play on the ball.
So what are you looking as far as what Allen is bringing to you and what you have to bring to Allen? Like, what are the keys to this game that you're focusing on without giving away too much of your game plan?
We have to match their effort of getting 8-9 people to the football. That's one. Number two, we have to match their intensity. They're going to come out on a natural high because they beat a Division II school and they just started football a couple years ago. I think we have to take their best shot in the early minutes of the football game, which I think we'll be up and ready for that. Looking forward to challenging our guys, not to worry about, per se, Allen, not disrespecting them or anything like that. Just making sure we be the best players that we can be, going forward. I think it's more so about us than it is Allen.
Absolutely. Well, again, this is the Coach Daryl Williams Show. Thank you for joining the Sports Desk. This segment was brought to you by John McGrail of the Edward Jones Investment Company, Jennings Insurance Agency, Hotwire Communications, and F&M Bank. Coach, any closing remarks?
Well, hopefully we'll get the same crowd that we had out there last week. The band will be playing, and I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, Church Day. If we can get all the people to come out and support these student athletes as much as possible, and we're sure to do our part on the football field and get the same results we had last week.
Absolutely. The crowd was electric Saturday, and we're looking for more of the same this Saturday, 4 o'clock, Alumni Memorial Stadium right here on campus at Livingstone College. Look forward to seeing you all there. For Coach Williams, I'm Justin Michael White. Thank you for joining the Sports Desk.